Hello and welcome back to On the Workbench. Today we're taking a look at the SK LP90 Ratchets. The first one came out in the 3/8 variety a few years ago. You can see with the green selector, this was the launch variant of the model. It's been interesting since they actually launched the 3/8. Originally they were supposed to also include some flex head options that have not yet come out, and the distribution on these has been rather limited. But this was one of the launch editions denoted with the green selector switch. The newer ones have what you'll see in my 1/4 and 1/2 inch models, just a matte chrome basic metal looking finish that sets it apart from the chrome body. So let's first start with a little bit of a longer term follow-up on the 3/8 ratchet. This has actually performed wonderful. I've had very few complaints about this, and I know some folks have had to add extra lubrication to the head. I've been very satisfied with mine. A little bit of wear around the selector switch, and the green is starting to wear off of the selector switch a little bit as well, just from use, going back and forth and being banged around in the toolbox and on the floor and other places where you're taking a ratchet. A couple of the nice things I've liked about this has been the smooth handle. You know, some of these non-soft grip handles will tend to have some extra grooves or gripping on them, but this is very smooth and it fits very comfortably in my hand. And so I like this one enough, so I thought I'd pick up the 1/4 and the 1/2. So a couple things here. This is the first time I've actually got the 1/4 out, and there's a reason for that. So the 1/2 here, I've had this one for about a year, and off and on I've picked it up and I've tried to use it, and I've used it a couple times, and one of the things I'm just a little frustrated with on the 1/2 is that every now and then the mechanism seems to be prone to locking up. You know, so I think I need to take this apart and lubricate this at best to try to see if there's any way we can remediate that. But since I've got a drawer full of other ratchets, you know, the fact that I need to do something to use a brand new ratchet, it's honestly been a little bit of a turnoff for me. And so I've kind of left it sitting aside out of a little bit of frustration. You know, if you've had a positive experience with that, I'd love to see or read about it below in the comments, because my 3/8 one has been almost flawless, so I think these are probably pretty close. And then on the 1/4 inch drive, one of the things here that's also a little odd is just how, what I think, terrible it sounds on the mechanism. And so it's not quite as smooth as the 3/8, and so this also is going to need some lubrication, and it's going to need to get the head lubricated. So the more commonly available models now all have this metal switch like I was explaining before. These are made in the USA, which to me is one of the big selling points on this, is you can get made in USA ratchets. These are serviceable. There's the hex screws on the side. I have not seen a rebuild kit, but my expectation of SK is that you'd find a way to be able to rebuild them if necessary. And so let's take a look at the length on these ratchets. If we look at the 1/4 inch ratchet here, from the anvil to approximately the center of the handle, we're looking at about 3 3/4 inches in terms of the moment arm you're going to be applying for putting torque on. Absolute length of the ratchet, we're looking at about 5 1/4. We jump to the 3/8. And that total length is about 8 inches. Center of anvil to center of handle is about 6 inches. And then on the 1/2 inch drive, we're looking at about 7 inches, give or take, from the anvil, and total absolute length right around 10. Just to provide some context for comparison purposes, I set the 3/8 aside, and if we look at the 1/2 inch basic raised panel Craftsman ratchet, this is the USA variant, and we compare it to the SK, the center of the handle on the SK is shorter than on the Craftsman for at the 1/2 inch, and if we look at the 1/4 inch variant and we line it up and do the same thing, you know, it actually compares a little more favorably to the 1/4 inch Craftsman in terms of length. And so that's been another turn-off for me on this 1/2 inch, is in terms of grabbing this versus other ratchets, is it just feels kind of short to me from what I think a basic standard 12 inch not 12-inch, a half-inch drive ratchet should be in a standard length without going to an extended reach or extended length or a stubby or any other variant there. That I feel like this should be just a touch longer. But, you know, you never know in the right circumstance. Maybe that little slight difference will actually pay off. And so one of the other deals with these is the low profile on the head. That's why they're known as LP90. They are 90-tooth ratchets, so that means it's got 4 degrees of arc swing. On the 1/4 inch, we're looking at a head thickness, checking in at just a touch. Oh, I don't know, we'll call it about a 1/4 inch thick there, which is awesome. So then on the 1/2 inch drive ratchet, that head thickness is coming in at about 11/16 of an inch thick, give or take. And so just, you know, while I've got the 1/2 inch drive Craftsman here, for comparison, that one's coming in just slightly, I don't know, just right about 3/4. So we're looking at just slightly thicker, but not by much. If you put these side by side, you can see there is a slight difference, although to me I feel like that's practically not much. This is not a quick release mechanism like the Craftsman has on it, and so that gives the edge to the LP90 just a touch because it doesn't have the retractable button there. If you're wondering why I left out the 3/8 for these, I got a whole separate video about this from a couple years ago. I'll put a card 2 up in the corner about the 3/8 SK ratchet. So would I recommend these ratchets? It's tough to say, honestly. I wish I could give you a more solid recommendation on this, but if I'm being true to you guys and true to myself, the 3/8 has worked great. Maybe with a little more lubrication and a little more wearing in, this could do better, but I just kind of expect a ratchet to be able to perform out of the package and not needing immediate service. And so I've just kind of put it down because I've had other options, and I kind of wish I would have spent my money on these ratchets on other ratchets. Obviously, your mileage may vary, and I've had great experience with other SK products. It's not going to turn me off from buying other SK products in the future. You know, to me, I suspect that with some lubrication, this will get fixed, I hope, and it'll start performing better. So I certainly have some concerns with the quality of these ratchets, and maybe that explains why we haven't seen these in wider distribution or whatnot. My original theory on why we hadn't seen these out, as I was guessing, SK was looking for some other tool manufacturer to partner with to rebrand them under a wider distribution, since SK used to do a lot of distributions with Sears. That's now obviously kind of gone by the wayside since they've outsourced their tool sourcing overseas. And so that's my look here at these SK LP90 ratchets and the family of them. If you've got better luck with these, put in the comments down below. I'd love to see it. I'll put a few links for these, but I don't know. If you've got them, you know, in terms of the money you're going to spend on these, I think you might have better options elsewhere. Because quite frankly, I think I kind of want my money back. But I've had this around for a year or so, kind of sitting around, you know, just kind of hoping for it to magically get better, and it hasn't. And today the screw stripped out, needing to service it. Yeah, I can, you know, get out the extractor and remove it, but kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth that I've had it for a year and just haven't been able to reach for it and love it without needing to give it extra attention. I'd rather be using my tools to fix things than having to fix my tools with other tools to then be able to fix things. Which is fine if you've used and abused a tool, but I haven't on that, and so that's my frustration on this. If you've got a better experience with these, put in the comments down below. If you've got negative experiences, put in the comments down below. Hope you're having a good day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.